What's up, fellas? I want to run you guys through 5 prospects to watch at UFC Fight Night 255. Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards. Starting off at number 5, we've got Nathan Fletcher, who's going against Kalen Loughran. I've definitely got Nathan Fletcher in this matchup because, for one, he's got the reach advantage. He's just better striker, very much more dynamic. He's got good head movement, unlike Kalen Loughran. Kalen has no head movement. He kind of fights like a bantamweight Marvin Vettori or maybe like a Roman Dolidze. I mean, they're both copies of each other, so it does make sense. But Loughran does not have any head movement. I see him getting clubbed and subbed or just knocked out cold, honestly. I think he has a good chin in the sense of, being a bantamweight Marvin, you have to have a good chin. But I don't think he has very much for Nathan Fletcher in the terms of the striking, grappling, submission game, wrestling, really anything, honestly. I think Nathan Fletcher gets this done in the second round. And he's 27 years old, has a really good record, 7 subs in his 9 wins, only 1 loss, and it was outside of the UFC. I see Nathan Fletcher having a really good UFC career, so this is a guy to watch at the UFC Fight Night 255. And number 4, I've got Mick Parkin against Marcin Tybura. This is actually a really fun matchup in my opinion. I mean, generally these guys are considered boring UFC fighters. I don't think Mick Parkin is boring at all. He's actually a pretty fun prospect overall. He's only 29, and every fight he has, you can see him visually improving. And at heavyweight, oh my God, that's incredible. We haven't seen a prospect at heavyweight improve day by day since Jailton Almeida. And that's really saying something because he's kind of the bottom of the barrel when it comes to like highly ranked heavyweights. I like Mick Parkin's odds in this fight. I think he's better at grappling. I think the striking is honestly miles ahead of what Marcin Tybura is at. And I could see him getting a finish in the 3rd round, probably just wearing out Marcin Tybura and getting the finish in the 3rd. At number 3, I've got Jordan Vucenic, who's going against Chris Duncan. This is actually a really underrated matchup on the card. I haven't heard very many people talk about this. I think it's because Jordan technically lost his debut, but it was against Guram Kutateladze, who's actually on the same card, funny enough. I think that was a really close fight, and to take Guram Kutateladze to any sort of decision, you kind of have to be an absolute monster or really, really durable. And I think Jordan Vucenic is both those things. I really like his style. I really like his stand-up game. I think his submissions are really slick. He was destroying people in Cage Warriors. Not to mention he's beaten UFC fighters outside of the UFC before they even were UFC fighters. He's beaten a guy like Paul Hughes too, who's a Bellator star. Someone else who's on this card that he beat was Morgan Charrier, who's that French guy. He's on the main card. He's a little bit more of a bigger name now, the last Pirate. Considering he's going against Chris Duncan, who's had some weight issues in the past, as long as Chris Duncan makes weight, he's pretty much an instant threat. He's 6 feet tall at lightweight, which is a really, big weight cut to hit, but he absolutely kicks ass. So it'll be a really good test for Jordan Vucenic, but I think he'll show some flying colors and catch like a 30-27 decision, if not 30-26 with a dominant 3rd round. At number 2, we've got Kevin Holland. Fucking just kidding. Kevin Holland's going to lose via 45-70. Number 2 and number 1 are actually kind of a package deal. It's 2 guys I'm really high on in the UFC, and either guy wins, I still think they'll have great UFC potential as long as they really, strive to be their best. And that is Felipe dos Santos and Kavanagh. Both of these guys are absolute savages and so young for the UFC. Felipe dos Santos being 24 and Kavanagh being 25. At number 2, though, I want to put Felipe dos Santos because I do think I see him just barely losing this fight. He's kind of a volume monster. His cardio usually tapers off in the 3rd round, though, but he's in the shoot box camp with Charles Oliveira. He's kind of like a mini Charles Oliveira. He brought Manel Kape to a split decision back in the day, and that was an absolute war of a fight. I thought, honestly, Felipe dos Santos won that fight. Considering how good Manel Kape is now, that loss has aged so well, even though it is a loss. He did lose against Andre Lima, but considering how good Andre Lima has been, the guy who got the bite mark tattooed, he's really good. Andre Lima, I think, is one of the bigger talents in all of flyweight, honestly. So for him to lose against someone like that as well, it's aged really well. Only other fight he's had in the UFC, I thought he won by unanimous decision, but the judges tried to rob him. You know how it goes. Felipe dos Santos is a rangy striker with a lot of volume and high-flying action type stuff. Kavanagh thrives off of timing and slipping punches. This is kind of a nightmare matchup for Felipe dos Santos. Kavanagh has an absolute stellar record, and I think his UFC debut was a little bit underwhelming. His career before then was absolutely stellar, like crazy knockouts, kind of looked like a young Conor McGregor, the way he moves out there. He's from the UK, and he's really, really talented. But I worry about these guys' development because since we saw Lona Kavanagh's debut, he looked underwhelming. Since we saw Felipe dos Santos' debut, we saw since his debut, which was against Mandel Cape, very impressive, very underwhelming performances since that. So as long as they've worked hard in the gym and they absolutely bring their A game, I think this will be fight of the night. And I think both these guys will prove they belong with the contenders up at flyweight. And I mean, flyweight doesn't have that much competition, so they're kind of starving for contenders, but I think these guys would absolutely fit in just great. They're very young, a lot of room to grow. And those are my 5 prospects I have for UFC Fight Night 255. If I missed anyone or you guys think I left anyone out, let me know. Don't put Lawford in that list. He doesn't deserve to be a contender in my opinion, and he's just not that young or good. But I guess we'll see in the upcoming days. Y'all have a great day.